Yeah, Pat, after the game on Saturday, you mentioned that it could serve as like a teaching lesson for this team. I'm wondering, after you go back and look at the film, what's the biggest lesson from that game that you're going to take into this one coming up tomorrow night?
Yeah, every single game and every possession is a teaching opportunity and a lesson. I can go back to the very first game of the year, and you learn a lot about your team and improvements that you can make in every single possession. So, I just, as I look back on it, we had a bunch of opportunities in the game to really expand the lead. I think we had double-digit leads on maybe 3 different occasions, and you credit them. They made big shots when the game could have gone one way and go from 10, 11, 12 points to 15, 18, 20. And they made some really tough shots and stepped up and made plays and cut into the lead very quickly and then made it a really good game. So, those crucial moments, just getting stops, but, there's several of them where you watch it and you're like, man, you just tip your cap. Those were some really tough plays. We executed pretty darn well on the defensive end.
Yeah, Pat, most people, I think, would say that the ACC is down only one ranked team, which is highly, highly unusual. What are your thoughts on the league and where you fit in? Your team?
Yeah, I've been a part of the ACC for a long, long time as an assistant for many, many years, and very honored and privileged to be part of this prestigious conference one again. It's one of the best in the history of college basketball, if not the best, and I have the utmost respect for the coaches and the teams in this league. Rankings and things like that are for you guys. I don't pay much attention to them. I just focus on the next task at hand, the next team we're preparing for, and obviously we play an extremely dangerous, talented, well-coached North Carolina team on Wednesday.
Where do you think you fit in? I think you were picked 9th in the league to start. Where do you think you stand now?
Don't care. I don't know what we were picked to start. You said we were 9th. Is that what you said we were? I really, I'm not sure I even really knew that. I knew we weren't picked first, that's for sure. I don't pay attention to standings. I pay attention to where our team is today and practice that's going to happen here in several hours, and hopefully it'll be the best practice in the history of our program.
At Carolina, while they might not have had the season up to this point in terms of like the win-loss column, like when you dive into the film, what's something that like really stands out about this Carolina team?
Yeah, they're very, very, very good. I mean, they've played one of the toughest schedules in the country, I think, at least when I go back, and I haven't looked at strength of schedule and stuff like that, but each one of their losses were very close and were against very, very, very good teams. I mean, listen, they're one of the most talented teams in the country. They're led by one of the most decorated college players of the last several decades. Hubert Davis is a phenomenal coach. Obviously, the history of North Carolina basketball speaks for itself, and this is a very, very talented and dangerous addition of their program, and we got to be at our best to beat them.
Yeah, when you think about just these past 2 games with Kanai, where do you see the greatest impact that he's made for your team out there on the court?
Yeah, Kanai just brings the ultimate effort and passion on every single possession. When freshmen aren't going to be perfect all the time, they're going to make mistakes, but the thing that you can 100,000% count on is that kid's going to empty the tank every time he takes the floor. Everything he does it with everything he's got. Crashes the glass, defends with great energy and passion. He brings that all the time.
And speaking with him last week or 2 weeks ago, he mentioned that someone who's been a big help to him, just in terms of the veterans on this team, was Ali Khalifa. Just how big of it is it, for him to have someone like that? He's like, when I talked to him, he mentioned, he kind of was taking a James Scott, under his wing, but to kind of have that veteran presence as someone who can be a kind of an extra coach for these guys.
I mean, I would throw Kobe Rogers into that category as well. I think I spoke about both of those the other day in the press conference after the game. You mentioned Ali specifically, but Kobe and he are kind of like frick and frack, Pete and repeat. Like, they're just connected at the hip. I think they're very, very good friends. But I mentioned it the other day, and I really believe our coaching staff is probably bigger than most in the country because you can add both those guys to that. Obviously, Kobe played for us at Charleston, so he knows our system inside and out. But he's a very high IQ player. He's a terrific leader. And he takes his role this year very, very serious, although he's not taking the floor and putting a uniform on. He affects winning by what he does off the floor. And then I could say the same thing for Ollie. He didn't play for us in the past, but, he's one of the brightest, highest IQ basketball players I've ever been around. And again, he takes great pride in that mentorship role, in that extension of the coach role, taking guys under his wing like the young guys, with Kanai and James, and they listen to him and they respect him. So, 25 strong is real. That's what our culture is kind of built around. That's everybody in an organization. I say it all the time, whether it's the student manager, whether it's the head coach, the scout team point guard, the red shirt, guys that are under a medical red shirt. Everybody affects winning every single day, and nobody's role is more or less important than anybody else. And doing your job and owning what we call our 20 square feet with excellence every single day is what makes our organization and makes our culture great. And Ali and Kobe are two great examples of that.
Coach, Chucky's a guy that's proven that he's going to bring it in, night in and night out at both ends of the court. When you have a game like North Carolina, it's going to be a matchup of two of the country's better point guards. How valuable is it to have a guy like Chucky who's pretty much stays even keel with his high-level play, game in and game out?
Yeah, you just said it. You answered the question for me. You just spoke perfectly as to what Chucky Hepburn is, what he's about, what he brings to the table.
Pat, Kadir was able to play last game after a month and a half off, but he only played 5 or so minutes. Is he still in the process, I guess, of trying to knock off the rust after being away for so long, or how is he kind of caught up, now that he's back to being able to play?
Yeah, it was tough the other day because he barely got his cast off and got cleared to play, and then all of a sudden we just threw him in there after not doing anything for 6 weeks. So, but he's ready, willing, and able. He's a very, very good player. He's going to do great things for us, and it'll be a little bit of a process to get him back fully 100%, feeling great out there on the floor, just because it's been 6 weeks without a lot of practice. But we're expecting big things from him.
Pat, after Carolina came from 16 down to beat UCLA, Mick Cronin said they just keep coming after you, coming after you, coming after you. Is that what you've seen?
Yeah, that says a lot, getting a compliment like that in terms of grit, toughness, because Coach Cronin embodies that, and I have a lot of respect for him. We're from actually the same area, sort of the same neighborhood. When he talks about the tenacity and grit of a team, I respect that greatly. But yeah, that's what they do. They got very good players. They're tough, they're athletic, they're talented, they're really well coached. So, they're sure as heck not going to lay down. Whether they're down 16, 20, up 20, down 16, they're always going to bring it. And I like to think that's what the Louisville Cardinals are about as well.
Coach Spencer and some the team are hosting some kids tomorrow, ahead of the game dealing with type 1 diabetes. Can you talk about watching him start that organization in Charleston and kind of how you've seen his work?
Yeah, I really don't think that gets enough exposure and notoriety. Like what Spencer Legg is doing is truly phenomenal. He's a type 1 diabetic, and to be playing high-level Division I basketball, and carrying that cross with him every single day, and then having the heart and the passion to make a difference and to create awareness for the disease, and just to see how he goes about his daily life in dealing with that, I have so much respect for. And then, the organization that he started is touching so many, is making such an impact. It's special. And Spencer, I don't know how much you guys have gotten to know him. If you ever put him up here in front of a microphone, he's gonna write his ticket in life, whatever the heck he wants to do. He could charm that folding chair over there. He's got a dynamic personality. He's hilarious. He's smart. He's witty. He's passionate. and he's making a difference in the world. And I'm proud of him. I'm proud of what he's doing. I'm proud of how passionate he is about it. And he's bringing quite a few young people that have type 1 diabetes that can look up to him and say, like, it doesn't matter. It does matter, but the adversity that I'm facing in life, man, you can make it. You can be a Division I basketball player. You can be anything that you want to be. So, again, I just think what he's doing and what he's building and how passionate he is about it needs more notoriety, because it truly is a special thing. I'm proud of Spence. I'm proud he's part of this organization. He's a big part of 25 Strong.
Coach Noah Waterman, he had a struggle, starting the season, but obviously a huge bucket to win the game and like that, and doing it with an injured thumb. How big is that for his confidence, and is the thumb a long-term thing for him? He's
an extremely tough young man. He embodies, I believe, what we want our program to be about. And he's fighting through an injury right now, but he never complains. He doesn't pout. You wouldn't even know it. He just goes out there and stinking competes and gives everything he's got. And he's really stepped up, and he's playing very well for us, shooting the ball well. Continues to play hard, crash the glass, do everything we ask of him. He's a big, big part of our team.
Just circling back to your answer about on the minutes for Akadir coming back. Just wondering, like, do you all have like a set number in mind typically? Did you have one in mind for Saturday's game, and him getting into foul trouble kind of like limited that, or is it just kind of something
we don't really do it that way, where you go into a game and say these are the set number of games. It's just kind of the flow of the game sort of dictates that.
Follow up on his question about Hepburn. Was he on your radar before you came here? How did that all develop?
Who are you talking about?
Hepburn, Chucky.
Okay.
Yeah. How did that develop? Your relationship with him and getting him here?
Yeah, he's just a young man that obviously we identified in the portal, and he's a point guard's point guard. He's an extension of the coach on the floor. He's obviously a decorated player, a championship player in the Big Ten. He affects the game in a major way on both ends of the floor. He's a winner. He's tough. He's got a high IQ. He's a great leader. He's one of the better point guards that I've ever coached, and I'm proud of his progress, and I'm proud as he's continued to grow.
You spoke so highly after the game Saturday about the team getting to the offensive rebounding and dominating that. Are there things you can take from that game to be able to do that in conference play, game in and game out?
I mean, that's you're talking about offensive rebounding. I mean, that's what we do. I mean, it's toughness, that's grit, that's pursuit of the ball, is hustle, right? And that effort, relentless effort, and is what our program is at the core. So, James Scott had 7 offensive rebounds, which is a crazy, crazy number. But, I think sometimes people forget that, being effective on the offensive glass and a guy being successful on the offensive glass isn't just about his statistic. It's the team pursuit of the ball, because sometimes the other guy going takes a block out. Sometimes the other guy gets a tip, and that guy gets the offensive rebound. So it's hard to just put all the praise on James, although he was relentless going to the glass. It's the collective pursuit of the ball that allows us to be a good rebounding team, and that's part of our deal.
Speaking of the offensive rebounding, you guys finished with 21 offensive boards, but only 15 second chance points. Was it something that EKU was doing to adjust after giving up the rebound, or was it just a matter of not finishing possessions?
I think we got second opportunities, and I think the second opportunities we got were good shots. I watched the game, and it wasn't that we shot a lot of bad shots. I think we generated good shots overall. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. What's that? Probably not. Most likely not. I'm a very, 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 very early riser. I'm not usually a late stayer upper guy.